4 o'clock. Well, good. There we go. The sound of my voice is loud enough to hear it. Yeah, you're nobody near me. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Dave, would you mind leading us in the flag?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Klein. Here. Edmund. Harrison. Here. Helen.
Here.
Three.
Here. All right, looking for approval of the PCOE PUSD agenda. So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we move on to presentation. Perfect. So we have the principal of recognition award. It looks like we're looking for Mr. Hawkins and Mrs. Blanton. Who wants to go first?
I will, as a
Sorry.
Well, thank you, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Frost, district leaders and staff for featuring Quincy Elementary School again today. As a proud principal of the Alder campus, I am so thrilled to honor and recognize Mr. Sterling Tompkins as an exemplary student. Some of the reasons why Sterling was selected to represent our school is his unwavering kindness, scholarly achievements, leadership, and resilience. He is our student council president, and he cares deeply about all of his constituents and goes through that suggestion box one by one, and he makes sure everybody's voice and all ideas are heard. And he runs meetings with efficiency, and he has really innovative solutions to some of the challenges that we have across our campus. Last year, he was the first student to lead a Thriving Thursday workshop where he demonstrated how to make elephant toothpaste. And he had at least 50 other students enthralled with chemical reactions and led other students to be inspired to also want to lead their own. And almost daily, if not multiple times every day, he asks if I need any help around the school, and he is very quick to take on any role and any task, and he loves to play the piano. And it is really a gift to our school, and he asks to just play at lunch or play at recess, and it really brings joy to the other staff members who just stop and listen and just take a moment to be in the moment. But he's inspired other students to want to learn and play the instrument, and he's so generous and will teach others how to play as well, and it just brings a lot of joy to our school. His homeroom teacher, Mr. Pamprin, shared that Sterling is a focused, hardworking student who knows what his job is inside and outside of school. He is one of 2 students in the 6th grade who has not missed a single homework assignment. And from playing multiple musical instruments to his knowledge of ancient history, Sterling has a wide range of talents that he loves to share. Sterling gives back to the school by being a member of the student council. And Sterling went to Hawaii over winter break, and he actually came back. That tells you everything you need to know. When Coach Jenna, our student council advisor, wanted to share about Sterling is that he's a wonderful student council president with excellent leadership skills. He's eager and determined to make the school a better place for all students. And he embodies the value of resilience, inspires hope in those fortunate enough to work with him. Quincy Elementary School is a better place because Sterling is in it. Sterling, thank you for making every day the best that it can be, setting a great example for others and for your service to our community.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Much appreciate the hands of those board members right there. There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Right.
Mr. Hawkins.
I'd also like to thank the board, district leadership, Superintendent Frost, for this opportunity to represent Quincy High School. I was doing some feedback when I was here last month that the board appreciated hearing things about campus. So before I introduce the recipient, I just want to share a couple of highlights from our campus. Connection is a good thing that we try to provide for our students, and we're very proud of the fact that we offer 17 varsity sports, which is competitive with most schools of a much larger size. We currently have 13 clubs for our students, and we have 7 CTE pathways. So that connection is what helps them want to come to school every day. Unlike Caitlin, not all of them want to come to school every day. We're also really proud of the interventions that we have in place for our students that need additional assistance, from iReady to reading rewards, to our mental health groups and support groups on campus. We're very excited about that. So I wanted to share a little bit before I introduce today's recipient, which is Caitlin Miller. You want to stand up, Caitlin? I'm not a speech preparer. I like to speak from the heart, but on the drive over today, I was thinking about, there was pressure to try to remember all of the things that I could say about Caitlin, because in terms of well-roundedness, she's the epitome. She has 4.23, and I'm probably going to get some wrong and leave some out, so I want to apologize. She has a 4.23 GPA. She's currently 3rd in her class. She's been a member of CSF every semester in high school. She's a 4-year member of the honor band, first chair. She's a 4-sport athlete, 4 years of soccer, 3 in co-ed, 1 in the girls team this year, which she was the captain and the MVP. A 4-year member of our softball team, all league honors last year. We'll expect the same. 4-year member of the snowboard team, competing in state championships all 3 years. And again, assuming we'll see the same thing this year. She is on her way to becoming a gold member award for Girl Scouts, which is the highest honor you can achieve in Girl Scouts. As I mentioned at the last meeting, she received AP honors for her performance on AP assessments. She's also an applicant to West Point and Annapolis, and I just got a text. I'm assuming she knows that she received the senator's nomination today.
Wow.
For West Point. All that she's accomplished. It goes beyond the school as well, as Girl Scouts indicates, but where she volunteers and the work that she does in the community is exemplary of the person she is, and we're so blessed and so grateful that you're a member of our community. Congratulations.
Actually. I am on.
All right, we'll move along to our teacher feature, Jennifer Reese.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jenna Moreno. I'm the intervention specialist at Alder campus. And I'm here just to talk a little bit about the evolution of intervention at Alder. I'd like to start with the student success story, and I'd like to begin by painting a picture. We have one student who at the beginning of this year, anytime it was time to do math, whether in the general ed setting, because teacher is here as well this evening, or in the small group setting, was struggled, let's say. What this looked like was he was unable to complete the beginning of module assessment. He was eloping when it was time to do math, yelling, rolling on the floor, refusing to talk to adults or follow directions anytime math was presented. Where we are now, as of this week, he scored 70% on the end of module assessment. He is asking for breaks when feeling overwhelmed, and by asking for breaks, usually it's a peace sign, but you know, we made a deal on that and it works. It works for him. He is working collaboratively with peers on math in the general ed setting as well as in small group setting. You can see these images in the top picture on the TV. He is teaching long division to his peer who had missed the lesson. And that is a photo on the bottom of him completing the end of module assessment, which of course he attempted to rip up when he first saw it because any groups of problems are of course a little bit overwhelming, but he did it, he made it through and he scored well. Reading intervention in grades 3 through 6, why this is so important and what it can do. And not only what it can do, but what it is doing at Alder. Helping to close the gap early by offering, you know, intervention that is targeted, is set at the students' levels. They are able to approach the material and become successful and make achievements and make strides in learning, and particularly phonics is what we're really focusing on in order to be successful. Building a foundation for academic success with strong literacy skills. It just trickles into math, social studies, science. It is the foundation for becoming a strong learner in all these other subjects. Preventing long-term struggles is such a big one. And not only these long-term struggles within academics, but how that then becomes a self-esteem problem, and then that becomes a behavior problem and the anxiety that builds. And so my favorite part of intervention is building confidence and motivation in these young learners. This also helps us identify underlying issues. Some students just struggle to get the material, but it also is a gateway between referring to SPED services. And so I like to think of it as, you know, intervention is the gateway to gaining these skills and not receiving IEPs or 504s, and knowing that they can do it and catching it, especially by the end of 3rd grade, is going to prevent them from having long-term struggles and possibly even dropping out, research shows.
All right, there we go.
For math intervention, just due to time constraints and scheduling, we are currently only offering in grades 3 or 4. We are working on changing what 5th and 6th grade is going to look like next year in the co-teaching model so that there is more time for intervention in grades 5 and 6. But what we're working on is cementing number sense and foundational skills. Again, preventing those long-term gaps. Building confidence and reducing math anxiety, that student who I was talking about in the beginning, the decrease in anxiety when a math problem is presented to this student and others is so significant, and we're only halfway through the year.
May I ask a question? You mentioned about reducing math anxiety, as we know, that's pretty prevalent. Can you give me an example of what steps are taken to do that?
Absolutely. So definitely offering math that is at the student's level, because a lot of our students by 3rd and 4th grade are already struggling with the content. Grade level content is already pretty difficult. And so meeting the students where they're at allows them to be successful and feel successful, reducing anxiety, but also getting those foundational skills to then go into grade level content and be successful. I would also say environment plays a key role. These small group settings where it is encouraged to make mistakes, to take risks, and be wrong in an effort to learn plays a huge role in reducing that anxiety. Our intervention types. So phonics is our main focus. Definitely the science of reading is showing that, and I'm thinking of Scarborough's rope and all of those skills that you need to be a successful reader. Phonics is key. And so for 3rd grade, we are using the UFly Foundations. And while that is a tier 1 program, we intensify for tier 2, tier 3. For 4th through 6th grade, we are using the Phonics for Reading curriculum by Anita Archer. And that was purchased by iReady just this past year,
2024. So it's also connected to what we're expecting from students, and where we excel, because we of course know, iReady is linked to, you know, higher or better scores on campus. Go back one, sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And for third grade, we are doing the Berkeley Everett number sense routines, as well as what iReady is suggesting for this instructional grouping of students to work on. And for fourth grade, we are piloting Do the Math by Marilyn Burns, and we're piloting that through the Rural Math Collaborative. And so shout out to Lake County Office of Education, who is spearheading this pilot and is connecting a lot of us teachers in rural communities, so that we can give our students foundational skills. Multiplication is the basis of this one, and the results are amazing. We have 32 students in, well, I work directly with 32 students in phonics intervention groups, but through our win time, which is new this year, and I have some teachers here who can speak to this as well. 63 students are in phonics intervention through our collaborative efforts. And 26 students are working with me directly in cross grades 3 through 4. But math communities and groups are developing in gen ed classrooms to meet the needs of all students. Shout out to Melissa, who it's so targeted and intervention. Everybody's getting what they need. What I need. So what this looks like is we are providing tailored learning experiences for all students. All students are getting what they need. We are reducing the achievement gap, addressing individual challenges. We are collaborating as grade level teams, more than I've ever collaborated with educators, and the results are astounding. Our professional learning community has developed this year more than I think ever in my professional career. And of course, emphasizing equity, making sure that all students get what they need, but also challenging those students who are succeeding. The one group is working on enrichment as opposed to catching up. And so not only are students getting what they need in terms of academic intervention, but enrichment, which is so important and often overlooked in the public school setting. Grades 3 through 5 are meeting 30 minutes per day, 4 days a week across 4 separate groups. Both general education teachers and myself, plus one other, Susanna Russo, is helping, as well as grade pool. And then 6th grade, due to scheduling, although we're really hoping to work on this next year, 30 minutes per class, 2 times a week. And just investing in the future and thinking of the future. Again, this is like a cost-effective program, hoping to reroute students from SPED and grade retention. We're increasing teacher effectiveness and collaborative efforts, trying to reduce burnout by working as a team. It's energizing as opposed to exhausting. And so sometimes, you know, day after day, it can feel tedious, but right now it's almost like we are energizing each other in this program and all of our students. And then of course, compliance with all of these educational policies. Everything we're doing is rooted in research and MTSS and all of this, and really trying to make it student-centered learning. Here, these are really small, so hopefully we can share. But these are just the diagnostic 1 and diagnostic 2 results from students in intervention. We can, from grades 3 grade levels and below, it started at 47%, we're now at 39%. 2 grades and below started at 26%, are now at 17%. 1 grade level below from 26, it actually went up, but hopefully that's just a little bit of the movement. And early on grade level in intervention, 11%, and mid to above grade level, 6%. And those were all students who started 2 or more grade levels below. 4th grade, 100% of students were 3 grade levels below. Now that is at 73%. 18% are 2 grade levels below, and 9% are 1 grade level below. Fifth grade, I think this was an effort thing, but they remained at 100% 3 grade levels below. And we did use that data to reshape our groups and really shift what we're doing with them, not particularly the content, but how we're approaching what we're doing with them. And then sixth grade started at 41% 3 grade levels below, now at 14%. 36 were at 2 grade levels below, that's now at 45%. 1 grade level below was 23%, it is now 14%. Early grade level, 23%, mid or above at 5%. So we are shifting students from way below grade level over to, 1 grade level below mid or on grade level. And so that was all just for reading. For math, similar, we are just shifting from 3 grade levels below. We were at 18% for 3rd grade, we're now at 17%. 73% were 2 grade levels below, we're now at 33%. 9 were 1 grade level below, we're now at 50%. And so again, that shift is just, the numbers speak for themselves, but to see this in action, to see these students succeed is just so heartwarming. For 4th grade, 33% were 3 grade levels below, it's now at 36%. 67 were 2 grade levels below, that's now at 21%. And 43% are now only 1 grade level below. And I invite you to come check it out for yourself, come observe. We have an open door policy, and any day of the week, if you would like to come and see intervention in action, we would love to have you. Yeah, good job, Jenna.
Good job, Jenna. Next on the agenda is our student representative for the board. But update us on the months that we had?
Of course. All right, so there hasn't been much since we've been on break, but it has been nice. We came back from our break last week, and normally that's a time when it's like not very good to be a student, but so like our student body was pretty encouraged, and we are in our final week of the semester as of right now, and so we are doing our finals, and everything's going well. We do have a lot of upcoming events. We have our hoopla event, and we are trying to increase our school spirit with that, and change our school culture for the better as well. So that's been one of our focuses, as I said last meeting. And yeah, I don't have much to add for this meeting.
Except what is hoopla, for those who don't go to.
Oh, so hoopla, yeah, that's probably important. It's our homecoming basically for basketball. So that's what we call it. And so we'll have a lot of fun events throughout the week. We have like hot chocolate for our student body during nutrition break. Just stuff to kind of increase the spirit for the weekend. Help encourage students, I guess.
And it's next week, you said?
It's, I think, 3 weeks from now. But yeah, so it's looking good for our second semester.
Thank you. All right, moving along to student achievements. Sorry, I didn't public input. Thank you, Julie. Holding me accountable here. Is it? Well, we have 2 things. Push it in. Here. Go ahead. You can go ahead. Like, there's like a little piece of carpet that works as a green spot. Perfect. All right, that's okay.
Good evening. You may recall I spoke with you guys in Greenville and invited members of the board to come join us at negotiations for 193. Our goal in that is to have you witness firsthand the progress of negotiations and to be able to hear how things are going on both sides. We haven't had anyone from the board attend, and by not attending, you don't have access to the voice of CSEA membership and our perspective. It's fair to say there are probably different perspectives on how things happen in a situation like negotiations. And if you're not present, we are unable to share our perspective with you. You're only giving one perspective. I really want to encourage you again to please join us at those negotiations, to make the time to do that so that you can hear the voices that we're representing. So please do consider joining us. Kind of connected to that is it's really hard for the voices of CSEA 193 union members to be heard for a couple of reasons. And one of them is the time of the school board meetings. Most of our employees are still on the clock. And I had to take off work today, just like I had to take off work to go to Greenville. I'm using my personal time off work to drive to be present at these meetings. They're not accessible to our members. They're still driving buses. They're still running after school programs. They're still on the clock. There's no way for you to hear our perspectives. I requested in Greenville to many of you in person, whether you're sitting here or here, that meetings are on Zoom so that people who live far away can attend these meetings and share their voices as well. There are concerns with, besides just time to get here, to be able to be heard, just things like the cost of gas in traveling to these events. If that's not a realistic reason to you, then frankly, you're probably out of touch with our members and what we're making. For a lot of people, the tank of gas to get to Greenville from Portola is an issue. And finally, there is a perception, whether it is true or not, that there might be retaliation for showing up and for saying how they're really feeling. Again, if I feel that this is something that needs to be addressed in how we can be connected and heard to board members with our union members. Finally, as you look over the reports this evening, I would hope that you would put faces to the individuals who make those positive reports happen. Anytime you hear a report of things going well, that's because of the people who are putting the boots on the ground. I can give a simple example, and besides the hard work of the people at the district office to make things work, when you get something like 0 complaints on the Williams Act, that's not because 0 things happened. That's because you have paraeducators who are seeing something happening and they're bringing it to attention and they're getting it fixed. There are librarians who are ordering things on the fly. There are principals who are paying for resources on the fly to find the cracks and things to make them work. And so these essential employees, not when you hear all of the great reports, I hope you keep in mind all of the essential employees that are coming together to make those work. They're not created in a vacuum. And that's all. Thank you. Please give me a.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Banning, and I'm the president of Plymouth County Teachers Association, our local teachers union. I'm actually here to echo much of what CSEA 193 is complaining about. Not really a complaint, but to bring to your attention. I have been on several site visits over the last few weeks, and one of the chief concerns from our members is the board start time. 4 o'clock is impossible for much of the district to be here, especially now with these looming teacher layoffs, classified layoffs. We have serious concerns that we want to address directly to the board. Secondary teachers contract end time is 3:40. I myself live in Portola. We have members that live an hour and 10 minutes away in Chester who cannot physically get to these meetings on time, making it absolutely impossible for your constituents to participate in this process. I also did some independent research to see when other school districts start their meetings. Not anywhere in the state of California are meetings starting before 5:30 p.m. Some as late as 7 p.m. If I may make a suggestion, please reconsider your board start time. It is absolutely impossible unless we're in the immediate area to attend. These rooms would be filled in the conditions in which we are finding ourselves right now. With your constituents and your teachers and faculty, many of us filling both of those roles, to address the board and to voice our concerns. I also want to bring to the attention of the board that Many school districts who find timing as a constraint will have their closed sessions prior to the general session for the public to attend.
Yes.
And I would like to point out that at 4 o'clock, if it is absolutely imperative for you to meet at 4 o'clock, that you hold your closed session at 4 p.m. and then open to the general public at 5:30. Thank you for your time.
Hi. I'm not a good speaker, so, anyway, I wanna talk about the situation in Greenville regarding the cutbacks, possible layoffs of teachers, due to funds missing, misappropriated funds that nobody evidently knew was coming until now. I personally think Greenville has had its share of troubles over the past 3 or 4 years. We've been burned down. We've had COVID. We've had our high school shut down. I don't know what else you can do. Our teachers are working their buns off. Parents are working their buns off, just trying to make learning accessible for the kids that we do have. And now we're hearing, oh, we might have to cut back on aides or teachers. I want to know, here's my point. Why can't the district cut back? And where did all this money go? All these funds that are missing, misappropriated. Who's overseeing all this? Why is it coming to us now? And why does Greenville always have to be the school that suffers? We've lost everything and we're slowly trying to build back. And it brings me to tears to think you guys are with us. It's always, what can we do to Greenville? I'm tired of it. I'm raising 2 children that I adopted that are in kindergarten and 3rd grade. And it's killing me to watch them possibly have to, like, we might lose our TK program. Do you know how important that is to children? It gives them a start. It gives them a start in socialization, reading, math. It gives them a boost up, and we can use all the boost up we can get right now. So my question is, maybe the district needs to find a way to cut some of your salaries, cut some of your cutbacks. Because evidently, we didn't know what was going on until just recently. We didn't know there's a $2 million deficit gone till just recently when it's sprung on us. It's like, just please quit cutting stuff in our area. Let our kids try to come back. And if we can show that our schools are capable of teaching properly, that will help Greenville rebuild. So I just hope that the board that oversees this will look at truly what's going on and help Greenville for once. Thank you.
Second, Stephen?
Hi, thank you for your time. I'm also from Greenville, moved from Texas a couple years ago. And was privileged when I moved here. They didn't have a kindergarten teacher, so I got to be in that room and teach that TK and kindergarten class last year. So I know Johnny, right?
Yes.
I know Johnny. And the TK program is vital. The kindergarten program is vital. And when I heard, I'm here 4 o'clock because when I heard yesterday subbing up there about what you guys are faced with, nobody envies that task, but I'm here to implore you to keep our teachers in the classroom. I've worked in every single class, not just TKK, I've worked in every classroom on that campus when we have individual teachers and when we have splits, when we have doubles. And coming from Texas, I have not to, I mean, that probably sounds really bad because I love California. I've never, as an educator in both states, I've never been in a school where a teacher in 2024 would have to do what those teachers do, teaching a split. And even as a substitute, coming in and trying to figure out this juggling act, because not only do you have two different curriculums, you have all the needs, all of those special needs that we're trying to take care of in a regular classroom. Imagine your classroom, if you're an educator, imagine your classroom double, doing it twice. So whatever you can do to avoid, and here's the other thing, if we have to cut teachers, what if we cut the wrong ones? We have some amazing people over there in the classrooms right now. When I walk in Johnny's classroom and see what Crystal Williams has done with that, and you know that classroom well too. When you see what that woman has done, and I think we're gonna lose her, that's why Cindy's so emotional. We don't wanna see the progress that's been made over the past year go away. So whatever you can do, however you do it, keep our teachers doing what they're doing right now, please.
Okay. Move on to student achievement. Zero.
Yep. First, seeking approval on all of the certs. You got to all the certs, so all 8 schools.
So you're seeking approval on this.
For school accountability report cards, yep. They're all in the board packet.
I will entertain a motion.
I had a question, I'm sorry, it's taking me a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Julie.
So we got an early look at these before they were made public, I remember. Did anything change drastically? I was trying to do a side by side. Not really.
There were a few, because multiple departments update these, so a few facilities updates, but nothing in regard to like test scores or.
Okay, I just grabbed like 6.
Just a few of the fit reports have been updated since November.
Okay, very good. Then I'll move to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, you want to go to item B?
Core novels. So these are not core novels, I'm sorry, they're supplemental to our core novels. So these have been vetted by our ELA leads, or our ELA lead and 2 other teachers. And so the CDE is a list of recommended, but we always like to get your approval when we're adding these in. These supplemental novels are paid by site funds, or if you have additional grant funds. They're not district funded, but we've just been working hard over the last, I think, like 7 to 10 years to really diversify our novel lists. So these are the ones that our hardworking teachers have vetted as adding to our supplemental list.
And the sites are required to buy them. If they get approved, they're required to buy them with their site funds.
So they're not district funded, and so they are site funded or funded, like right now, we have the CLSD grant. And so luckily our CLSD grant is funding a lot of these supplemental novels, and that's why you'll see more of them this school year and last school year because of this grant that we got, so.
So do they become required reading then?
They're just, they align them with our ELA curriculum to diversify what we're doing, and they're supplemental to our curriculum. Similar to what like iReady is to our state adopted curriculum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the grant that you're talking about, is that a use it or lose it grant?
But we use it.
No, right, but again, just meaning, so if you need to spend money with it.
We didn't use all the funds last year, and so Butte County Office of Education gave us an extension. We have to spend the funds by April of this school year.
Okay.
And so that's why you've seen more core novel purchases last year and this school year, and just diversifying our libraries. It's just been such a gift to our school sites. That's where the $25,000 for the libraries came last year. So we're just trying to spend the rest of the CLSD funds. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
I'll make the motion to approve. Sorry, I didn't know you were gonna ask.
Is there a second?
Because I did look at them, they were actually really neat.
Yeah, they're great, huh?
Yeah, that's the young.
And our
the young
teachers
men from
read them
South
over summer
Africa.
to vet
I actually
them,
went
so.
out for that one myself.
Yeah.
They looked really neat.
I'll count that as discussion. Is there
I'm
any more?
sorry.
Yeah.
All right, All in favor?
I,
Item C, the instructional calendar.
Okay, so thank you for the feedback last month. So we did poll parents and it was really close, 55 to 45%, and then the staff, they wanted a different option, so it's really up to you. I did pull some data for you guys to consider. Childcare, when we take that week off in February, typically could be an issue. I did pull attendance rates for the last 3 years just to show you, because people really do tend to go on vacation because they have the, those days off already, so our attendance rates are really low. And another thing that we looked at is, our maintenance and facility and custodian departments, because we do 30 days of summer school every year, they're really impacted, not being able to keep up on facilities and doing that. So if we have that week off, it's always a good time to get in and get stuff done. So for that reason, I did recommend approving option 2, however, it's really up to you.
That's where I felt the same, to where I know that when we asked last time about what that, because the first year I got here that was seemed to be the biggest part of the discussion, is that we wanted to hear what the parents had to say. And with a 4-day weekend, we're only adding a couple of days.
It's 3 days.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and then I also got feedback of just how important it is for the staff. And that's where I motion to approve option 2. Is there a second?
So can I share one thing that Andrea and I have been talking about is 30 days of summer school through expanded learning is really impactful on sites. And so what we were thinking for next school year is that we could offer 1 week of expanded learning during that February break for those days. And so it would be enrichment based. Many other school districts do that, and that would lessen our summer days, which would shut down facilities so that we can do the upgrades and all that, but it would provide childcare for families who need the days off on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And yeah, so it would be 3 of our expanded learning days for next school year. And we would just have to get staff to do it.
yeah, so that's a really good point, and
It's a huge-
I would be hugely in support of that. The parents that I polled, that was the thing that they felt that they were forced to take that whole week off, even though a lot of the time February is our worst weather month. It's not a week that they're gonna go on a vacation because we're snowed in or whatever's happening. And so they were having to burn 3 days of their vacation because they didn't have childcare. And I can relate to that. When I had 4 kids in elementary school, that would have been really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Especially when they're all school age and you don't have any, someone would have to take the time off. That's what it comes down to. So how do we do it? How do we fund that? And how do we get,
Expanded learning.
right, but where do so it's volunteers, teachers would volunteer to work that week?
No volunteer.
There's
So-
supplemental funds, that come through.
I'm not saying they volunteer for free. They would
So-
say, I'll work. even
Similar
though-
to what we do for summer school, so we send out a survey.
Okay,
And would you like to work summer school, right? So what we've realized is 30 days over summer is super impactful to our sites, and it really is wearing out the staff, right? And so if we could spread that out throughout the school year and do 20 good days of summer school, and then have Saturday options and that February break, then we're helping parents, because if we did like a Saturday expanded learning and then the week of February, parents can do what they need to do, and the kids are still getting the enrichment. So we have to survey our staff to see who's willing to do it in what communities. The communities who are willing to do it, who we could find staffing, then we would plan accordingly.
and you said this would be not intervention, this would be enrichment. So this would be
For 3 days, you can't
outside of the
really do-
box,
yeah.
right?
Intervention is best if you do it for at least 4 days, so 3 days, it would just be fun enrichment, childcare, feeding students and taking good care of them so that parents can do what they need to do.
And that's both on elementary and high school.
No, expanded learning is only for elementary, so we would have to figure out high school.
Okay.
But really, it's most impactful for elementary because they can't stay home.
Right.
Yeah,
Hearing that, I would support option 2 as well.
that's a really great position.
So we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And Andrea and I will work on that. We'll share it with you at a later date on how we want to change with expanded learning, so thank you for that.
All right, facilities update, Mallory.
Okay, so we have two facility contracts for approval tonight. The first is Current Electric, and it is to provide and install the alarm systems at the Portola High School portable. It's that section when you're on your way from the main building up to the shop there on the left-hand side. We've had some issues and we realized we don't have any working security.
That's the band room. Is that what you're talking about, where all the instruments are stored?
Yeah.
Yes. Right there, but yeah.
And so this is like door and camera,
Camera.
just camera.
Mhm.
Is there a second item you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yes, okay, thank you. The second item that I wanted to talk about was the tank that we surplus last meeting. This is just for the company, Hunt Equipment to come in and to remove it. We left it kind of open-ended, as you could see the dates, just depending on whether and when they can come in to take care of it. It's at no cost to us, but since we surplus the tank, they're just gonna take it and remove it for us, what they choose to do. It's their option.
Right, I'm entertaining motion.
I'd move to approve both items.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Williams quarterly report, Andrea.
Yes, so for the quarter ending December 31st, 2024, we had no complaints filed with the district regarding textbooks, instructional materials, misassignment of teachers, or any facility conditions.
Right, that is information only, no action required, so we'll move on to number 10 of leadership. So we have some resolutions honoring School Board Appreciation Month. Andrea?
Yes, so January is recognizing School Board Appreciation Month. So we want to recognize our school board with a resolution. So Clumas County Board of Education, resolution number 2425-09. Clumas Unified School District, resolution 1666. Recognizing January as School Board Appreciation Month. Whereas California has designated January as Board Recognition Month, a time set aside to recognize the contributions of county boards of education and school boards to the academic, social, emotional, physical, and mental health needs of students. And whereas an excellent public education system is vital to the quality, whereas an excellent public education system is vital to the quality of life for all California citizens and communities. And whereas county boards of education and school board members advocate for the students in our community to thrive. And whereas local school district board members are committed to students and believe that all students can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored to the individual. And whereas public schools serve to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and an ever-changing world is more poignant than ever before. And whereas PCOE, PUSD board has 5 members who serve 4-year terms and are elected from different trustee areas in the county. Each member resides in their trustee area. And whereas the PCOE and PUSD board is dedicated to improving access to inclusive, equitable, high-quality education by helping create thriving learning environments for students. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the PCOE, PUSD Board of Education and the County and District Superintendent of Schools do hereby adopt this resolution to recognize January as Board Recognition Month.
Thank you. I'm so glad not to read that myself.
Thank you for the order. Thank you.
Thank you. Weird that we're approving our own resolution.
Yeah.
That's what I.
Like, should it just be a note of thanks or? Right, so this is a roll call, Patty, you wanna do that?
Klein.
Aye.
Hedman. Harrison.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
All right. So now let's back to my spot. All right, another resolution, go ahead.
Okay, so thank you, for our, resolution 24-2508 was adopted at our December 11th meeting where we appointed Andrea, the PCOE superintendent. The resolution is brought back today because we needed to add for payroll purposes. We needed to add the additional pay that she would get for being county suit. So you'll see at the bottom of the, resolution, it is bold. And so we are looking for a roll call vote for that tonight.
Aye.
We realized on the last time, I didn't have a first and second.
Okay.
Just go to the roll call, so you need to, first and second on the previous one.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
And then for the second one, I'll move to approve again.
I'll second.
Now you can do your roll call.
Klein,
Aye.
Edmund, Harrison, aye, Keller,
Aye.
Reed, aye. Thank you.
All right, policy updates.
Hey, sorry, you're okay.
We have lots of policies for you to consider, standard from CSBA, and most of them are around the governing board and all that you do, so it was a nice education piece for me.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So like a couple of the things that were on here, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of red, or actually a little bit of red and a whole lot of green in most
Yeah.
of these documents.
I
So-
had to print them because it's so hefty, yeah. So-
And I did not take time to read every single one of them, but I am interested to see how we implement these bylaws because a lot of these laws are action oriented and I don't remember doing any of that.
Yeah, a lot of these will be training pieces, I
Okay.
think, so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's, so as they become important, then CSBA notifies us. And then that's when we need to take action on it, right? And so now that we know, we get to take action on it, but obviously we can't memorize all of this.
Yes.
So we have this printed and these are things that we can you can decide as a team on where you'd like to start your learning on it. So, but I think it's good for all of us to get,
I have a quick question on at least one. Can I do that?
Please.
We have to make a motion before we open discussion.
In theory, we should
Okay.
move second and
Then I'll
discussion.
move to approve.
which one, Jolena?
Can I do the whole slate?
Please.
Okay, the whole slate, please.
Go a second. Oh, I'll second.
Now we can ask questions.
With discussion.
Oh, that's
Let's
right.
have discussion.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I remember during the redistricting, when we were meeting with FRC, you guys all remember that?
Yes.
There was discussion, and to be honest, I don't remember how it ended, but that instead of, is it still the case that only a trustee district votes for that trustee, or did we end up going countywide on all of them? So everybody votes for district, or are we still like, I'm representing, or not, I'm elected by district one?
I think we're by district.
We are by
That
district.
stayed, okay, I remember that was a discussion, I didn't remember how it ended.
Would you like us to get clarification and let you know?
Well, we could read it in here and.
Let's see if we can figure, if we can find it. I looked, also, I didn't know, this was something new and I tried to find it, and I might not be looking in the right spot. But I learned from Dave that when your term expires, if no one steps forward or even runs for that position, that you are not released, that you serve in another term until somebody does step forward. Where is that in writing?
It's not released. It's not that you're not released, it's that you are not, it's not mandatory for you to It's step not, down. right, it is. So you It can, provides if you that's the the opportunity to opportunity. continue.
But you also have the opportunity to continue
You
to
do.
serve in that
Yes.
capacity.
Yes, if you
Okay.
wish your term to end, then you can.
Okay.
I apologize.
You're thinking slavery
I
was not
explained it
dead.
that way.
Like, where did I sign up for like the next 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I've been doing this for 9 years already.
Any other discussion? I guess I'm just looking to, I mean, and I know there's already a lot, so, but is it something that, we work on with some of the to-dos? I mean, because there's like self-evaluation is one of them.
Yeah.
And, and there's like, there was a bit more in there and associated with the board training, and I haven't seen anything, I mean, CSBA sends us emails all the time, but it's not anything, it's just usually legislative conversations. So I guess I'm just looking, so is that something we after we do this, we would be getting together to make action items off of all of the bylaws on here? Yeah, I would propose maybe a subcommittee working with the superintendent.
I think, yes, I
I
think,
mean, unless something was already created originally, but I never got a packet and I'm only 2 years old, so
I
that's,
can go back and look.
okay.
I think oftentimes a common practice is that when the board is evaluating the superintendent, the board also does a self-evaluation at that time. And this just gives you the mechanism with which to do that.
Right.
And there's all sorts of CSBA can provide all sorts of documents for the board to choose a self-evaluation tool to use. And I think it's a very healthy process.
Agreed. That's why I was very excited to see this. And,
Right.
Cause I know I had originally asked, cause I got voted in as board clerk, but had no description of even what that was.
Right.
And so that it would be nice to have that information.
Yes.
So, and thank you for your previous answers. What my duties are. All right, so are we ready to go? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Superintendent search update. Megan.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, so we're gonna go ahead and let our Mac and Jack folks in, so we have Nicole and Bill here. You guys. I provided you guys a packet. Oh, hi, Bill, hi Nicole. They're gonna be explaining, so pretty much everything's in order. I did want to, Chelsea, in the packet, I'm starting on this form right here. You asked what questions would be going out on the survey.
I did
And
find
it is
it.
included in that. So
Thank
if you guys want to take a look at that, and I will share it with you as well.
As well as the link. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
Nicole, you can hear us?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Thank you.
That's a yes, yes? Okay. All right, Bill, what about you? Mic check. You good? Can we hear Bill?
I can hear you. Can you hear
All
me?
right.
All right.
Perfect. All right. Well, good to see you all from 4 to 4.5 hours away from you. We really are excited to continue to partner with you on this superintendent search. As we shared before, it's one of the most important decisions you're going to make in your very near future. And so just again, honored to partner with you to support the process. And so Bill and I have a few updates for you. Hopefully you got a chance to read through some of the documents. There are a couple key things we need from you today. It should go pretty quickly, but we also want to make sure we carve out time if you have any questions and want any specific information. And then after this meeting, we will reach out to each of you via emails with just summaries of our meeting and continuously reach out with communications just to give you an update. We will see you again on February the 12th, I believe. So it'll, like once a month we'll see you. But we do want to make sure you at least have a heads up on what's going on during the search. And then also because we're going to begin our stakeholder input sessions where we'll get to meet and get input, we do want to meet with each of you individually as a board. So we'll also reach out to you as well and you get to have some one-on-one time with us. Okay. So a couple quick things. One is the calendar. So Megan, thank you for, the meeting we were able to have you and the team as point of contact, just trying to kind of thought partner around the process and what works well for your district based on some of the timelines that we have set in the calendar. So based on one particular important piece, which we'll need around the criteria in our advertising deadlines, we thought it would be ideal to push back the application closing date by 1 week. So that doesn't do anything for you all as far as your calendar, but for us, for Bill and I, as we look at collecting those applications, screening, we're going to leave that open for an additional week. And a lot of this was based on you had winter break that came pretty quickly. So we thought that we didn't want to lose that time. It doesn't change anything else on your schedule. So the interviews will still be the same. Your board meeting is still the same, but it would just change really the work that Bill and I would be doing around when we screen and go through those applications. So I just want to pause and see if that is any question or thoughts, concerns about that. All right. Perfect. Okay. And keep jumping in. If I miss you, just jump right in if we don't see you and you have a question. So the second piece, which is really an important piece of this work, is the advertisement, right? So we have started to advertise. We've started to recruit. We've definitely done some our research and kind of, doing some just research about who's out there, right? And who's interested. We've been talking to people and you definitely have some folks who are considering, applying for the job. What's missing though is that real vision that you all started to create around the criteria, those 5 kind of areas. about what you want to see in your superintendent. So you may recall at our last meeting last month that you gave input. We took that input. We also reached out to you to see if you had an additional input as individual board members. And so based on what we received, what you see there with you is kind of a final draft of the job description / criteria. And I want you to take a look at that because it's important tonight that we get your final feedback so that we can have the green light to place that in the brochure for advertising. We want to update the advertisement on our website and make sure that EdCal and AXA on EdJoin and all the platforms that are used to advertise that has your job description. So I want you to just take a look at some of the things that are listed there. You notice some of the narrative. Yeah, I can hear somebody jump in.
No,
our
computer keeps wanting to shut down, but I hit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. So I want you to just take a look at the 5 criteria because that's kind of the bulk of the content there. I want you to take a look at that. And also there were some preferences and also requirements you had at the bottom. And we did slip in there also something we need input on is the salary range. Even though you're going to be negotiating this process at the end with the finalists, we do need to have that because that is a factor right now in recruiting. People do want to have an idea about what the salary range might be. And it is a competitive market. So we want to make sure you all have time to consider that, even though you're not set to anything yet, right? But it is something that you'll negotiate. So I want to just pause and see if there are thoughts on the criteria before we put a pin in it and get that out because we're really kind of under the gun for that piece.
I'm favorable of it. I don't have anything to add.
Okay, yeah. I think it looks good, except for formatting. It looks like there's a difference between your format.
Yes. Yeah, actually, that is a draft. I forgot to say that. But yeah, it'll be formatted to fit the brochure and the advertisement. Yeah, right now it's just in like a Word doc and it doesn't have all the pretty stuff going on there yet. So, but anything that, grammatically, even there might be a word, anything that you felt you need to change, like it's kind of like the speak now, forever hold your peace, because we want to get that in there. And at least get, people kind of seeing what your vision is around who you want to see in your next superintendent.
I think that community center is very helpful to have in there.
Yeah, you all captured that well. So we really emphasize placing that. So glad, good catch. Tell me about preferences and requirements. Is there anything there that sticks out to you? That was based on what you all shared. We just kind of split them up because some of them are preferences, some are required that you shared in our last meeting. So are those still solid?
Isn't there an administrative credential that's required?
So if you go to the second one.
It's not required, but yeah.
So on the district side, it's
not
not
required.
required. It's required on the county side. Yeah.
You can make it required.
Yeah. If that's something that you guys want us to add, we can go ahead and add that.
Interesting. I don't know, I'd like to see it somewhere on here.
Certainly preferred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nicole,
Yeah.
will you add?
So say it one more time, just so I make sure I can hear clearly what you need.
There's an administrative credential that's
So will
actually
you
an
add
option.
here California Administrative Services credential preferred on under requirements?
Okay, we can do that. Now, just to give a little caveat, yes, we can place that in there. Bill, you got that? I'm right. I'm talking and I want to make sure we're capturing that. Okay, perfect. So just keep in mind that the requirements though for a superintendent, that may not necessarily be the requirement. And so keep in mind that when you think about, yes, you want people with experience. So obviously they're going to have an admin credential, right? But there are very unique moments where you have folks who may not have that. They're maybe from out of state, you name it. And so just keep in mind when you do preferences versus requirements, sometimes it can close the door for folks, even though that's not an actual requirement for a superintendent. So it's kind of like a weirdness.
Yeah, we're okay with being
a preference. Okay, perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest, based on your criteria and everything, they will probably have an administrative credential, just based on the experience, but we just want to be mindful of that because it's kind of a weird nuance of actual requirement. So got it. Okay. So we'll add that.
It's a preferred?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her preference. Yep. Got it. Okay. And yep, jump in.
I think salary is gonna be the only thing is that within, I'm not gonna use the word budget, but budget.
Is that what the agreement is today?
No.
The range.
I don't think so. So is this something we can talk about in closed session?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's personnel related? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so just so you know, one of the references we did is a little bit of research based on meeting with the team to think about like the comparable salaries, right, around superintendents in the area, and then also just the landscape of public education. So we do, want to encourage you to consider it, and that's definitely in closed session. You want to think about it, but remember, you're not like held to this until negotiations, because it is going to depend on the person. If they are newer to the role versus someone who's experienced, that's where the negotiation may change, and that's why that range is really helpful. But it is something that when you want to be competitive and you want to attract people, it's something to consider. Unfortunately, as a lot of districts, you're facing budget cuts, right? So there is some things to consider. And so we know that we wanted to place it there. We didn't expect you to make a decision tonight. And actually, you don't have to place that on the actual job description, but it is helpful for Bill and I as we're talking to folks to know. So we will take that off if you prefer to do that, so you have time to decide that. But we do need kind of get a sense. So Megan, when we connect again, maybe you can kind of give us an update on that, and then that way it'll help our recruiting efforts.
I think we'll talk tonight, and I feel like I can update you later tonight or tomorrow morning.
Perfect. That's perfect. Awesome.
Yeah. Nicole, can I add something really
Please,
quick?
I was gonna say, Bill, please add. Yes.
So the districts that you see there, and some are the county district combinations, and some are in Calaveras' case, there's a separate county and a district. But I think the thinking was that these are similar kinds of mountain districts. And I think these are the ones, Megan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are what the district uses as comps when it goes into negotiations with the teachers so there's really kind of a fair.
By comps to look at, which we use for classified and certificated negotiation salary. And so that's
okay.
So
we picked the same ones. We picked the same ones. I do just want to caution that on these, you'll see a year, either 2022, 2023. That's the year of the very latest salary information. So even at that, even with the comparisons are about 2 years behind. So just something to think about, because these salaries tend to keep rising. So maybe beyond what we've given you as an average.
Good point. Yeah, so we'll look for that update and just appreciate that, Bill, doing some of the research on it. This is a tough decision in the times that you're in, and we recognize that. So one thing that we do want to follow up on with the advertisement, there's a couple of documents, and I think Megan and your team, more closely may be working on this, but for the brochure itself, we do want to make sure there's a document we sent that just has like district information, things you want us to highlight, maybe some photos. Those are all things that we'll need pretty quickly. And so the criteria was a missing piece of that. So now we'll just need that brochure. And so Megan, we can follow up with you on that and try to figure out a good day to send that over. But we're gonna need that pretty quickly. And then there's a little piece about just making sure we have everyone's updated information for the board, because we do place a piece of that into the brochure around information for the board.
So Nicole, I think one of our employees, her name is Carrie Dingle. She's working on, I believe it's in that Google Doc. So she's
okay.
updating.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
In there.
Okay. Yeah. Apologies. I may have missed it. And I appreciate you all trying to help me figure out why I keep getting blocked on trying to get on your district website. It does not like my server, evidently. So I got to double check and make sure nothing's blocking that. But yeah, appreciate that. And definitely that's going to be the missing piece to getting the advertisement rolling. We are really excited because we have a unique opportunity to do some advertisement at the AXA Superintendent Symposium, which is not traditionally always the case. So there are a couple of search firms who will be there to be able to present, actually. And because of the landscape of public education right now, some of the laws around when superintendents may be released because of new boards, coming into the majority board changing over, there's going to probably be quite a number of people who will be in that space, unfortunately, and great superintendents, by the way. But sometimes boards change direction, or it just may be that this is that transition time. So we're excited that we'll have an opportunity at the end of January. We'll have a presentation there, and so that's part of why we want to get that brochure so we can actually physically have it, and then it'll also be electronic for us to continue to reach out through our platform in that way. So just want to give you that update because that's a great space that I honestly, in all the searches I've done, I've gone to Soup Symposium, but not necessarily had a presentation space. So that's actually, exciting to hear. Yeah, jump in.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Okay, perfect. So let's see, we're almost on the home stretch. So the update we want to give you also is on the stakeholder input process. So we're super excited about that. We met with the team and have developed a schedule around when we meet with each of your stakeholder groups. And so based on a 2-week period starting next Monday all the way through the end of the month, Bill and I will be meeting periodically with different groups online so that anyone can access that virtual space. There is also an opportunity, and Megan just kind of reminds you too, there may still be some folks you want to add to that list. So you saw our availability, feel free to, plug them in right where we're available. And if we do need to meet with anyone one-on-one because those times don't fit, just let us know and we'll make it work because we want to get as much input as possible. And so on top of that, those 4 questions that will be asked are also in the online survey. So I'm not sure if y'all saw that link, but the survey is live, so you can start getting the input now. We recommend put it on the website, send it out as a text message, leverage your principals, who often communicate with their school community. You have an amazing student board rep who it seems to be able to gather a lot of students in different ways, right? So utilizing your student leaders, right, to get feedback, but it'd be awesome to get as much input as possible as you consider, again, this superintendent kind of hearing what the community wants to see, hearing some of the issues, but also really kind of bragging about the space you're in, because 2 of the questions are about what's good about your schools, what's good about your community. And those are recruiting tools for us as well. So in the end, when this is all said and done, we are going to put together a stakeholder input report that we will give to the board. Anyone can see in the community. You can place it on your website. And so it is a public document. And that is going to be super helpful for even the candidates who are interested in the job. It's a great piece of research. And the board, it'd be great for you also to see, really getting some input based on those 4 questions. So those same questions we're going to ask in those virtual meetings. And also those same questions show up on the survey, which is live as we speak. And also we'll close the last day, which is January 31st. I believe we said 5 o'clock. Okay.
Bill, I see, so on the 21st, I'm wondering if we can switch, if we can change from 11:30 to 11. I don't think 30 minutes is enough. So I'd like to reserve the whole hour for our district office staff.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that. It was like, I think we'd schedule half an hour.
Yeah, well, if you could schedule an hour, that would be helpful.
Yeah, from 11 to 12?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can do that.
Right.
And then your survey flyer has 5 o'clock at one point and at 7 o'clock at the bottom.
Oh, you know what? It is because one is central time based on our home office. So I don't know if it says CST on there or PST. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So we'll make sure we'll fix that. Yeah. But that's just the difference in that because they're going to close at 5 o'clock our time.
Got
so
it.
that's, yeah. So that was, and and I will say this, if we get to a point where we look at the number of responses and we're like, we really want some more, we can open it back up, but we do try to get that window done because then Bill and I need to compile the data so we can produce the report for you. So we'll kind of decide that as we see how much input is coming in. But I think that's a great tool to get across your entire community, considering, everyone's not going to necessarily be able to join our virtual meetings. We won't do any in person unless absolutely necessary. And sometimes in person would be, if we want to do some one-on-one when we're there, right? That's one opportunity. But we're gonna definitely leverage the virtual space so that we can make sure everyone has access because we know it's difficult to connect sometimes, in person. So, questions about that? Yeah, jump in.
Well, to understand, so on the 23rd, we have classified and certificated, and that's for the whole district, and there's an hour for all of that staff to be able to participate?
Yeah, so what we typically do is we co-facilitate a lot of times, and depending on how many people show up, then we do like a breakout room. So we'll split them up. We typically get this done in an hour because it's a science to it. But if they go over a little bit, they need extra time, they want to, talk separately, like we'll make time for that. But yeah, we've been doing this for a while and it works actually pretty well. That's assuming that, everyone shows up. Well, typically they don't. So people who cannot come literally make sure the survey is sent to them as well, so that they know our schedule is what it is. It's not going to work for everybody, but anyone can access that survey. It's the same questions in Spanish and English, by the way. And we want to make sure everybody has access, even if that, uh-oh. Did we get kicked out?
I think we lost the board.
Uh-oh. I think the owl kicked us out. I see Jessica. We're on Jessica. Oh, that must have been our time. Oh, Megan's calling now. Hey.
Hi. Hold on.
Okay. Okay. We're like, our time is up. The mic got cut off.
I was just asking on the classified that right now they're scheduled at 3 p.m. Well, they're still in school. Like they're just getting all the kids out at 3. So I wasn't sure how that's going to work for the classified staff to have to be there at 3.
So what you
Can we
can
go a
do
little later, Nicole,
Yeah.
on the 23rd?
Yeah, we can go later. Definitely go
Okay.
later. And so just place that in there. We'll adjust. We kind of gave you some, like loose timelines, but yeah, we'll adjust. Definitely. Yeah, no problem. And you should be able to edit that, Megan, right? You can get on that.
Yeah, you're actually just with the board right now because
Okay.
they're
Okay.
on the computer, so.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good.
It's on the 23rd. It's set up for classified at 3 to 4 and certificated at 4:30 to 5:30. There's kind of a weird bullet point type calendar. Yeah. Okay, and then just to clarify, Nicole, that it's that what you're doing in person are the same questions that they can answer on the survey.
That's correct.
Correct.
Yeah. So the virtual
Right.
meetings, yeah. Yep. The virtual meeting questions are exactly the same. Yes.
Okay, then gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Then maybe an hour is just fine because I have an opportunity to answer
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yep.
Can they get us back in?
They're working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
3%.
Yeah. They're working on it. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're pretty much at the end. So that's the good part. You all are at the end of this. So I think we'll just share next steps and we're all done.
It's also available in Spanish.
It is. Yep. And it's actually in Spanish and English on the same survey. So we try to make it real simple. So you have one link.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, do we have any other language? Do we have any other languages?
That was only 2 you all said you needed. So that's what we provided.
Have other requirements. Okay. Oh. I don't. Yeah.
We're actually covered everything, Bill. So I think just following up with Megan and they finalize that criteria, get the info.
And
We're
now the
good. I
criteria
think
is in place. That's gonna be really helpful.
Yeah, we got everything with the board. So I just want to make sure they didn't have any final questions before we close out. So I think they're probably gonna let us back in a second. Is what she said. It was loading. Technology.
Did it cut us off? Was there like a timeline and it just time's up and
I don't know. It just Oh, here she is. Hey, Megan.
I don't know what happened or.
That's okay.
Laptop stopped working.
It's okay. We're actually at the end. I can hear on Jessica's computer now.
Perfect.
Can you hear us? Yep, that's perfect. All right. Yeah, can you hear us okay?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we really are at the end. So what we can do is just kind of
Oh, there they are.
finalize. Oh, perfect. So we were kind of at the end actually, and so we want to just make sure in closing, you know, if you have any questions as a board, this is a great time to ask. And remember, we'll reach out to you individually so that we can get some input from you as well and ask you those similar questions and get your perspective. But any final questions from the board?
No, thank you.
No.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Say it again. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Oh, got
Thank
it.
you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And so Megan, we'll be in touch. Sounds like tomorrow, just to make sure we're good to go.
Yes, I would like to just go over, tomorrow I'd like to talk about what time changes we're going to make on the 23rd, so that
That's
way.
fine. Sounds good.
Perfect, thank
Sounds
you.
good. All right. Thank you all for your hard work. Stay encouraged. Happy New Year, by the way. I totally forgot to say that.
Happy New
Excited for
Year.
2025. Despite it all, I'm really happy and honored to work with y'all and thankful you're in the roles you're in to support our students who are why we're doing this work, right? So thank y'all.
Thanks.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. We have.
Thank you.
11:24. Follow up on this. You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from 12/17/24. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain. I wasn't here for that one. All right, service contracts included with this agenda. For PCOE.
Yes, I'm actually going to let Ms. C speak to the first applied survey research.
So our local childcare and development planning council, the LPC, it's in collaboration with the district, the county, and then the county office of education. So one of our grants requires us every 5 years to do a deep dive needs assessment for all of our communities and county. And so we contract out that service and they provide us with like an 85-page, very comprehensive document on demographics and needs. And then the LPC uses that to plan for the next 5 years. So we're just that's where we are with it is it's time to update our deep dive needs assessment. And this is for children aged 6 and under. And it's with our early childhood education coordinator, who's funded by the county, who takes care of that for us.
And these are all paid with grant funds.
Right. But it's required.
It's a requirement.
Yeah,
to do it
and-
every 5.
And every 5, so
Yeah, every
so
5
this
years.
is just a.
Yeah.
Fifth year.
Because it takes us 5 years to get through all of the action items.
I'll move to approve.
Second? I can't second, sorry. There's a second.
Second, but then can I ask a question?
Discussion.
Discussion. So the, what kind of human capacity does it take out of you guys as businesses during the process? I mean, is it, because you made a comment like it's intense.
So Lindy Johnson is our early childhood education coordinator, and so she will collaborate with many different agencies to do this. So she'll work on this after approval until June 30th, because this will be like her big project.
Okay.
And then she collects all the data, gives it to this company, and they do a deep dive into everything. So one person, with my oversight does this, and, it helps create great opportunities for, childcare and, everything for kids under the age of 6, including students with special needs. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I could send you an example from another county if you'd like. I was just reading over Santa Clara.
Or just our previous, I mean, I'm so new, there's so much I don't know, so
Yeah.
just even our last 5 year were really awesome.
Yeah, I could send that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Contracts on the PUSD side?
Yeah, the first is all 4 kids. This is through the Curriculum and Instruction Department. It provides CRC students with a free assembly that teaches resiliency and a growth mindset. The second one is not to exceed 22,000. This is for our FICMAT folks to come, and they're going to look at our first report, review the multi-year projections, and work alongside with, the district and the state on, our current budget situation. So this is the not to exceed. It takes about 1 to 2 FCMAT representatives at their daily rate. So, and this would include travel and lodging. If it came to that, when I spoke to them last time, they're assuming that everything they're going to need is on Zoom and then email and create sort of like an audit portal for us to share those documents. And really the only person that I expect to come is the fiscal advisor, but that is not with FCMAT, that's with the state.
And the more we do ahead of time, the less they have to do, right? The more we save.
Yeah, and actually it's come at the same time where I'm also working on the audit, and so it's kind of, I'm already doing the same thing, so obviously FCMAT is going to be doing a lot more comprehensive as far as our cash management and the 3 years out, as opposed to looking at just where we were at with fiscal year 23-24, but it's all in the same nature.
Right.
The third, Far Northern, this is an income contract for our early intervention services through our SELPA department, ages birth to 2 years old. So that's income coming in.
And are those grants or these are just funds that we get to apply for in general?
You know, in the 10 years that I've been here, we've never applied. It's sort of it's a community partnership that we have with First Five.
Okay.
Not to say that we expect, or Far Northern, not to say that we expect it, but it has come in at least for the last 10 years that I've been
Well,
here.
in part, just to chime in a little bit, the regional center is responsible for services for 0 to 2 years old individuals who have disabilities in that age group. And so they provide us income because we employ the individual who serves these students. It's just it benefits our community to have somebody local versus them just being on the hook and they only have Reading and Chico offices. So it's mutually beneficial.
Thank you.
The next is our required drug and alcohol testing for our bus drivers and mechanics. And then the last two, we contract out with Feather River College. The first is $6,000 in income, and that's for transportation for our P2P field trips in the 6th grade. And then the last is the $4,400, and that is to serve for the college fairs. For TOLA, I know goes to Reno, and then we have some of our students head over to the Chico area. And so both of those are income as well.
I'll move to approve as submitted.
One second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, the check register.
I'll move to approve as well.
For a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
What is the clean sand? I'm just curious.
That's okay.
Is it for a playground?
The what?
The clean sand. Is it just for a playground?
Yeah.
What is that? Okay.
We have a few of our playgrounds that we fill, and then there's also, you'll see at some point for the topsoil project over at the high school.
Because it just is a flat, so that's, some of this is a little difficult because it's just a check register, so you don't even know what it goes to, it just is a simple description, and so that was one, because it was a decent amount.
Yeah, and then if there's ever any, you know, if we can elaborate more on the descriptions, just let me know. We have,
Well, I know that just takes time, it's just, but that was one that I kind of went, but I figured it was playground, but.
I see.
We can still do sand for playground.
I'm sorry.
It's at the high school. I think it might be for like the ball fields and stuff like that.
I think it's
Okay.
the top, I say topsoil, but your question was.
Well, it's sand, so that it's not going on a playground, because I know, Rotary, we're working on a new playground, and we can't put sand in anywhere, that's not an option, so that's why I was curious, because.
I think this is for ball fields, and then a lot of time you do that for sod too. You'll top it with sand, so that must be what it is. It's just a lot. It's a lot of sand.
Baseball season is coming.
Yeah, and it goes into a central location, and our maintenance goes and takes it to wherever they need it then.
I've seen a few on site,
It is.
a few
Piles.
piles.
Okay.
You'll always find a pile by the baseball field.
The kittens appreciate that.
Yeah, I do.
All right, any further discussion? Let's go. We have a motion and a second, all in favor.
Bye.
Field trips. That was way lower.
Did everyone else vote on that item?
I did.
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I think I was laughing or.
I'll move to approve the field trips as submitted as well.
We have a second. Second. All in favor, or sorry, discussion. I just, no,
We're good.
all in favor?
Bye.
Aye. All right, we'll move into closed session. We are going to, so the board knows, and have it, we're going to collect dinner in break room and, if
Sure.
All right.
Hang on, we're almost there.
Okay, so we are gonna reconvene the meeting at 6:40. I am looking for a motion to approve the HR agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll consider any future agenda items? No? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. At 6:41.
Thank
Very good.
you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very nice.